Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Yinky. I want to appreciate every one of you that has subscribed. Our existing and our new subscribers. I appreciate you a lot. Thanks for your support all this while. And today I'll be showing you how to make a notched collar jacket. The pattern drafting alone is what I'll be showing you. And this include the front pattern, the back pattern, the sleeve and the pockets. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, once again, please, I implore you to do so. Like and also share our videos. So let's get back to work. For this tutorial, you need the basic pattern set. So the first thing we'll be doing is to enlarge the pattern. And this is the front pattern. And this is the back pattern. So on the front pattern, I will start the work from the front pattern. I will come up by 1/4 of an inch and go inward on the neckline by 1/4 of an inch, and also on the tip of the shoulder, on the shoulder hand also go up by 1/4 of an inch and go outward by 1/4 of an inch. Then that will be traced out with a red line. So this is how it will look. Then I will enlarge the neck line also. The essence of doing this is to create comfort while wearing the jacket. So I will also enlarge this by 1/4 of an inch also through to the shoulder line. So that will be done with my French curve. So having done this, the next thing is to go to the armhole and also come down here, come outward here by 1/4 of an inch and connect the points together to this part. Come down here by 1/2 of an inch and then connect the 3 points together like so. So I'll be connecting that together with my pattern master. So on the side seam, I came down by 1/2 inch. Then I connected it to the mid armhole. So 1/2 of an inch will be added to the side seam like so. So I'm going to add 1/2 of an inch to it. Remember, this pattern is without seam allowance. I haven't added seam allowance to the pattern. This is just ease for the jacket. So on this line, I'm extending outward by 1 inch, and this serves as my collar stand. So I come outward from the neckline by 1 inch, and that's my collar stand. And also here I'll go up by 2 inches, and that will serve as my neck depth, the collar neck depth. So I'll connect the line like so, and this line will serve as my roll line. So the collar will be rolled over this line. So the next thing to do is to connect this point to 2 inches above waistline, and this is called the break point. Then extend it outward by 1 inch. This depends on the diameter of your button. So 1 inch is okay for me. So then I'm going to square it up like so. So having done this, the next thing is to connect the line together. So I'm going to connect the depth with the break point in this manner. So I'll be connecting the depth with the break point in this manner. Having done that, I'm going to come outward here by 2 inches. And what I want to create here is my lapel. So 2 inches from the center front, 2 inches outward from the center front. Then I'm going to link it up to the break point. Then this will serve as my lapel. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share my videos. And if you have any suggestion, you can leave it in the comment section. So The next thing is to go to the back pattern. This is the back pattern. Enlarge it the way we enlarge the front. Go up by 1/4 of an inch and go inward also by 1/4 of an inch. Then here also go up by 1/4 of an inch and go outward by 1/4 of an inch. Just the same way we did for the front. Then I will connect that with a straight ruler. And this is what I have. Then I'm going to enlarge the neck also by 1/4 of an inch round. The circumference, I'm enlarging it by 1/4 of an inch round. So I'll be tracing that out carefully with my French curve. So here I'll go out by 1/4 of an inch also. I'll come down here by 1/2 inch. Then connect the 3 points together. Connect the 3 points together with your pattern master in this manner. So on the side, I'm going to add 1/2 inch to the side. So this is just the ease. Remember, this pattern, the basic bodice, does not have allowance. It does not have allowance. So I will add sewing allowance later. I'm just adding the ease allowance because it is a jacket. It must be enlarged a little for comfort. So here I'm going to measure the circumference of the back neck. I'll measure it like so. So I have 4 inches because I will use it for my collar in the front pattern. So I have 4 inches here. So I'll go to the front pattern and input 4 inches on this line. So before I do that, on the neckline, I'll go inward from this point by 1/2 of an inch. The essence of doing this is to have a relaxed collar, a collar that will relax on the neckline. So 1/2 of an inch inward, then I'm going to blend it up to the neckline like so. I'll blend it up carefully to the neckline. Then that will serve as my original neckline. So from there, I'll place the neck circumference of the back neck that I measured before as my 4 inches. Can you see the way I placed my tape measure? So then connect the line like so. I've added like 0.1 inch to the 4 inch for ease on the collar. So divide 4 inches into 2, then I have 2 inches. So I have divided that. Then I'll come out here by 1/2 inch. Then I will link the points together. The essence of this also is to make sure the collar relax on the neckline. So I'll be linking it up like so. Then blend it up carefully. Blend it up carefully. So this is the original line. This line will be ignored. This line, this former line will be ignored. I hope you get that. It's not something difficult at all. So having done that, from here, from the last line, I will extend towards here to form the collar width. So the collar width is about 3/4 inches. So here, before I form the collar width, I want to make the notch. So the notch is come up by 3/4 inches and go inward like so by 3/4 inches also. Then connect the line to the center front like so. Connect that point to the center front in this manner. I hope you get that. So we have the notch. This is the notch. And on this notch, the width on the collar that I wanted to make before must be parallel to this notch. So I'm going to make the collar width of 2/3/4 here. So 2/3/4 is input here, and I make sure it is parallel to the notch line. So I'll complete my collar with my pattern master. So I'm going to link these points together, these 2 points together in this manner. You can see it's very easy to make a notched collar jacket. It's not something difficult at all. So trace the collar alone, trace it out like so. Trace it out carefully. So I'm only tracing out the collar. I will trace it out. Then I'm going to add 1/2 inch sewing allowance round the collar. Remember, it will be cut on fold. After tracing it out, this is what I have. And I'm going to add 1/2 inch round the collar. Trace it out on a new paper. I place the new paper underneath while I traced it out. And this is what I have, and I'm adding sewing allowance round the pattern. So connect everything up like so. Carefully add your sewing allowance round the collar. Carefully add it. It must not alter while you're adding the sewing allowance. It must not alter your design. So this is the collar, and add sewing allowance round the original part, the jacket pattern. I'm adding 1/2 inch sewing allowance round now. So this 1/2 inch will serve as my sewing allowance round the collar. And on the hemline, I'm going to add 1.5 inch. So my camera went off while I was adding the sewing allowance, but you'll still see it when I'm doing the back. So this is what I have for the front pattern, and we are going to move from here to the back pattern. So this is the back pattern. So come to the waistline and go inward by 1/2 inch here to have a well laid back. So come up by 2 inches on the hip line and come down by 2 inches from the bust. Then connect the 3 points together like so. So this is essential for those people if you want to slit the center back. But if you don't want to slit the center back, you will cut your pattern, your fabric on fold. You will just write on fold on the center back. But because we are going to slit it on the center back, that's why I'm doing this. And it will make this jacket relax well on the back. So because our back is not straight, it's curved in a little. So I will be adding 1/2 inch allowance round this pattern like so. I will add it like so. Add it on the neckline, also on the shoulder. I'll add 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the armhole and on the side. So the back pattern is almost ready. The back pattern is almost ready. Having done this, I'll go to the hem line and add 1.5 inch to the hem line also. I'll go to the hem line and add 1.5 inch to the hem line also. This is what the camera didn't capture on the front pattern, and when you watch this, you will see how I did it on the back pattern. It's still the same way. It's the same process I used for the front pattern also. This is the way I added the sewing allowance. So you can complete this with your pattern master in this manner. So here I don't want this part to have this 90-degree shape. So I don't want it to have right angle shape. I want this coffee shape. So you are free to make any design you want on your own too. So this is what we have. The pattern is ready. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out like so. So this is the back pattern for the jacket. This is the front pattern. All the allowances has been added. So the next thing is the sleeve, and I will be cutting the sleeve with the basic sleeve. So I have a tutorial on the basic sleeve also on my channel, so you can watch that also. Add half-inch sewing, add half-inch ease allowance round the jacket also. Add half-inch ease allowance round the jacket like so, the way we did for the front and back pattern. Then add 1.5 on the hemline for the hemline. So having done this, the next thing is to add sewing allowance of half-inch round, just the way we did for the front and back pattern. And our sleeve is ready. You can see it's very simple to cut the jacket sleeve. So this is a one-piece sleeve. If you want a two-piece sleeve, that means you're going to do another pattern drafting on, but you are still going to use this basic sleeve to do that. So for this pattern, if you want a princess dart, on this armhole line, divide it into 2 and connect it to the breast point like so. Connect it with your French cuff in this manner. Very simple. This is for the princess dart design. Princess dart style line. So what I did for the back, I'll also do for the front also. This is the way the facing will be on the back. I'm going to cut the facing in this manner. Then this is the front pattern. I will also do the same thing I did for the back. Connect it to the mid armhole and blend the bust point. So having done that, I'll be going on a short break now, and when I'm back, we'll be drafting the pocket.
Do you desire to be a professional fashion designer in just few weeks? Then what are you waiting for? Enroll at Yinki Couture Academy today. Our online, offline, and physical trainings are open in the following classes: advanced class for 4 weeks, intermediary class 8 weeks, and beginner class for 20 weeks. For inquiries, please call 0805 7944477 or 0903 218 4192. You can equally connect to us on our various social media platforms at Yinki Couture. Yinki Couture, home of dressmaking techniques.
You're welcome back. So the pocket consists of the welt, the flap, and 2 pocket bags. So the first one is take half-inch width and 5.5 for the length. This is for the welt pocket. So I'm going to square it up like so and complete it in this manner. So the welt is 5.5 by half-inch, and it will be cut on fold like so. The next one is the flap. The width here is 1.5 and the length is 4.5 inches. So square it up like so also and connect it together to form the flap. So whatever I measure on the right side, I will measure on the left side. So this is the flap. So the next thing is the 2 pocket bags, and it will carry the length of the welt. So its width will be the length of the welt, but its length is 6 inches. So the first pocket bag is 6 inches length and 5.5 for the width, as in the welt. So I have done that. So the next one will be 1 inch longer than the one I just drafted, but the width is still 5.5, as in the welt length. So connect it and square it up like so. So we have 2 pocket bags, 1 flap, and a welt. So 6 inches here, 7 inches for the length here. For the width here, we have 5.5, 5.5 for the width here, and for the flap, you have 1.5 here and 4.5 here for the flap. And also this one has 5.5 here and 1/2 inch here on the side, 1/2 inch. That's the measurement. So I'll be cutting this out right now. Then I'll be adding sewing allowance for the welt. The welt will be cut on foot. For the flap also, I will add 1/2 inch sewing allowance round the flap also. And I'm not going to add any sewing allowance round the pocket bags. So I'm going to blend it up in this manner. So this is not compulsory, it depends on your preference. So I'll go ahead and cut the 2 pocket bags out. So this is what I have. I'll be 2 times means I'm going to cut 2 pieces of each of this, and for the flap I'll be cutting 4 pieces. So the flap will be placed on another paper, while the welt also will be placed on another paper to draft it out with the sewing allowance. So I'll place it here, the flap, and add 1/2 inch sewing allowance around this pattern. So that's what I'm doing right now. 1/2 inch sewing allowance around the pattern. So the design on it will be made in this manner. Then I'll cut it out. You can freestyle the design on the flap the way you want it. So this is what I have. And for the welt, I'll be cutting it on fold. So I have folded this paper right now. Then I'm going to add 1/2 inch round the pattern. So that will be for the welt. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my videos. Thank you. So I'll be adding the sewing allowance of 1/2 inch round this pattern for the welt now. And this is what I have for the welt. So I label it so that there won't be confusion. So this is for the pocket. This is the pattern for the pocket. So label it out, the pocket bag, label it out, the facing of the pocket bag. And the next thing now is to note where the pocket will be on the front pattern. So I mark 1/2 inch inward and 1 inch outward, like so. 1 inch will be marked here. I first of all mark 1/2 inch, then later 1 inch. The 1/2 inch I first marked is for the sewing allowance, and 1 inch is for the pocket allowance. So I mark 1/2 inch inward on the other part also. Then subtract 1 inch that I just marked now from this flap length, which is 4.5. I will subtract 1 inch from 4.5, and I will have 3.5 remaining for the pocket. So I will input it like so. Then note it with this mark. So I'm going to connect it with my red line so that I will note it. And the pocket will be like this on the pattern. By the time we fix the pocket, the welt will be inside and the flap will cover it like so. So we have come to the end of this tutorial. If this tutorial has been helpful, don't forget to like, share, and also if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to this channel.